Welcome back to Capitol Bourbon, everyone. My name is Steven. On today's special video, we're going to be reviewing the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof 119.5 proof, which for me at least came out in the beginning of 2025, and I was able to pick it up just a couple weeks ago here at my local ABC store here in Virginia. The price point of this guy was $150, which is MSRP, as well as you guys are jipping us out there on 50 milliliters, as this bottle here only comes in at 700 milliliters, which is what Brown-Forman is actually doing a lot now on their special releases for Woodford Reserve, as well as for Jack Daniels and a few other brands that they own out there. And a lot of people complain about the price point there for a lot of the Woodford Reserve special releases, as it tends to come in at a lower proof point there, like the Madeira cask finishing, some of their wine cask finishings, as well as the double oak, which is causing a lot of drama these days. Comes in around 90 proof there for the same price point, if not a lot more. The double oak came at $200, and a lot of the Madeira cask finishing comes in around $160. So a lot of people complain about that, but at least with this bottle here, we are getting it at barrel proof, which I definitely enjoy, and I think what every one of those special releases from Woodford Reserve should be doing absolutely. But although these batch proof bottles here are pretty pricey, I actually had been a pretty big fan here of what Woodford Reserve has done in the past for the batch proofs, so I'm excited here to try out this 2025 edition 119.5 proof. That seems pretty good. I think it's on the lower end though of the batch proofs that they've released recently. I know last year I believe it was 121.5 or 121.2 proof. It's actually not too far off, to be honest. But releasing it at batch proof does not really justify charging 2 to 3 times more compared to a normal release of Woodford, and also in an unaged stated bottle, which these here I believe are rumored to be between 6 to 8 years old. All right, and without further ado, let's go ahead and crack open into this bottle. Let's see how it is on the nose, the palate, and finally give it a rating and see if it's actually worth that steep price there of $150 for you to buy and spend your hard-earned cash on. But before we proceed, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That helps this channel grow significantly and helps me continue making this type of content for you guys. First cork pop. Ooh, a little tight. Really good cork pop. Let's pour it up. All right, I'm really excited about this one, guys. As I mentioned, I'm a big fan of these Woodford Reserve batch proofs that they've been releasing here in the past couple of years at least. This one, 119.5. Let's see the color on this one. Definitely darker than your average whiskey there and average Woodford, I would say. Let's see how it is on the nose. Okay, lots of caramel, a lot of deep medicinal cherry there actually. Kind of smells like grape or cherry cough syrup. Oak, caramel, vanilla, cough syrup. Smells pretty good, pretty sweet, pretty complex on the nose really well. Woodford does know how to make good smelling whiskeys. At least I know double oak was also fantastic to smell, which is another one of the recent releases here. Yeah, wow, it smells really good. Honestly, it reminds me of a Jack Daniels, which isn't surprising considering that they're both made by Brown-Forman, or actually more like an Old Forester single barrel coming in at, you know, the batch proof there or barrel proof. Wow, really good smell in the nose. Okay, let's see how it is on the palate now. Get a lot of vanilla there on the palate. Kind of all I'm really getting is a lot of vanilla, tannic oak notes there on the back end at least. It's pretty sweet, not nearly as good as what it was on the nose. Same thing for the Woodford double oak. The nose was fantastic, and this 119.5 proof is absolutely fantastic there on the nose, but the palate does not live up to it, which is the absolute most important factor, and the most important thing for a whiskey here is how it tastes, right? That's what you're paying for. Nose is fantastic, wow. I'm surprised the palate isn't living up to the nose really. But let's try it again one more time. You're getting proof there, not too much though. Drinks more like 110, 115, lower than what it says. You're getting just hints of vanilla and oak, I would say. Not too much else besides that. I would say this is a good bourbon done at a higher proof point. And for $150, I can't imagine that being worth it this here. Third time's the charm. It's good. It's definitely good. It's not $150 good. And now I'm expecting from a Woodford Reserve limited edition Masters Collection batch proof whiskey here. Not that good at all, I would say, for what it is and for that price point. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it a rating that I think could use a lot of work there. I'm going to go ahead and give this one here a 7.3. It is good whiskey, but just the price point there is definitely holding back. At least, you know, if they want to be charging that price point, they need to be delivering something that's a lot better than this, a lot more complex, a lot better mouthfeel. Yeah, it just lacks there a lot on the flavor compartment. So 7.3 I think is a fair score for this bottle here. Actually, maybe a little bit too generous there, but I think it's a pretty good score. It is good whiskey again, guys, but it's just not living up to the price point and the hype and expectations for this Woodford Reserve here. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and compare it to last year's release, which is the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof 121.2 proof. I do actually really enjoy this one here, at least from what I remember. So let's see how it is. Let's pour it up. Compare it to the 121.2 proof. Color first of all. Maybe about the same, I would say. Definitely no noticeable difference to the naked eye. Let's go ahead and see how it's on nose. Nose, I would say, is about even, but I would give a slight edge to 121.2 proof here on the palate. 1.1.2 proof, a lot better. A lot more flavors there, a lot more vanilla, caramel. It does kind of taste still like a generic bourbon there. You're not getting any super complex or deep, rich notes, but you are getting a lot more flavors and a lot more notes than this one here, the new 119.5. So on the palate, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the 121.2 proof here from last year. I'm going to go ahead and give the 121.2 proof here a 7.8. Definitely a lot better than this year's release, but still definitely not excellent there, I would say. One more comparison there, speaking of batch proof, is going to be a Stagg. This one here is batch 24A, came at 127.6 proof. And, you know, some people might say it's unfair to compare a Stagg to these Woodfords, since these Woodfords are a little bit easier to find. However, they're both limited editions here, and the Stagg on the secondary market, you can find for around now 150 bucks, 160 bucks, and that's with tax included. You don't pay tax on secondary market usually. But yeah, you can find these Staggs now for the same price as the MSRP for these Woodford Reserves. So I think it's absolutely a fair comparison. So let's go ahead and see if the Stagg beats out either of these Woodford Reserves here, especially 119.5. Stagg 24A here. Let's see how it's on the nose. More muted, I would say, on the nose. More muted. A lot more cherry, just deep, rich medicinal cherry and oak. Yeah, I'm going to say the Woodford definitely beats out the Stagg on the nose department. It's a lot more caramel and vanilla on the nose there, at least. Let's see how the Stagg is on the palate. Stagg, mouthfeel, viscosity, finish, a lot better on the Stagg, I'm going to say. The Woodford, it kind of feels like a generic, cheaper bourbon compared to the Stagg here. Let's give the 119.5 another try, though. Stagg beats it for sure, although it's closer than I remember, or closer than I thought it would be. But the Stagg, the finish and the mouthfeel is just so much better. So I gotta give the one to the Stagg in that department. The flavors, again, the Stagg is kind of just like a medicinal cherry sweetness all throughout. The Woodford at least has a little bit of vanilla, maybe a little bit of caramel too. So yeah, the overall winner here, I'm gonna give to the Stagg, considering you can find it for the same price as these go MSRP. A little bit of a cheaper option here now. What we got is the still Austin Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. Let's go ahead and see how this one is. The price on this one, I believe, is around $65. So let's go and see how this one compares. Although, you know, here in Virginia, you can't find still Austin at all. So for me, this one's actually the hardest one to find out of this bunch right here. Let's go ahead and pour it up though. Still Austin on the nose. I'm gonna go ahead and give the Woodford the win on the nose. This here is kind of just generic bourbon. Hard to tell, just sweet, kind of raisiny maybe. But let's go ahead and see how it is on palate. Palate is completely different here on the Still Austin. You're getting a lot more grape, a lot more raspberry, a lot more red fruit, I would say, for sure. Completely different there on the palate. It's so good though. Wow. It's so good. The Still Austin here is so good. Still Austin is a pour I would go for every single day of my life. It's that good. It has that more comforting flavor, I would say, at least being that more grapey and fruity note. Let's see how it compares to the Woodford though, when we're trying. It depends what you want. Still Austin here is great, but it's definitely different. This one got vanilla, caramel, oak. This one here is grapey, red fruit. So depends what you want. But you know, this one being $65, coming in at, what's the proof point of this one? 116 proof. Basically comparable here, right, to the Woodford. This Still Austin though, I would probably give it an 8. One more comparison here real quick. Let's go with the Woodford Reserve 46 French Oak Cask Strength. I think this one will be a little bit more comparable to the Woodford. So let's go ahead and pour it up. All right, our Maker's Mark 46 French Oak Cask Strength here, poured up. Let's see how it is on the nose. A lot more ethanol, kind of deeper, richer on the nose there. Less fruity, less vanilla, less caramel. More woody. Good on the nose too. Let's go ahead and see how it is on the palate. Well, that's crazy, guys. I would say immediately off the bat, this French Oak here has a lot more vanilla, a lot more caramel, a lot more complexity and flavors than even the Woodford does. I think this one here comes at around $60, so that's a steal if you're comparing it to the Woodford, kind of like it's Still Austin. Let's try the Woodford in comparison. Not bad at all. Again, really good whiskey here from the Woodford. Just the price point leaves kind of a sore taste in my mouth. The Woodford is a little deeper in flavors, but I would say the Maker's Mark here kind of has a little bit more pronounced flavors at least. And you know, coming at $60 here, which is less than half the price of these Woodford batch proofs, you know, this one is a great value and it's hard to beat that. So this Maker's Mark here, I would say definitely lacks a little bit on the finish and the mouthfeel there, but I would still give it a great score here, probably around 7.7. It's really, really great actually. So really enjoy this Maker's Mark, especially for the price point. All right, so in summary, what does this really prove here? I guess it kind of shows us these Woodfords here are definitely a bit overpriced. They are really good and actually really great whiskey, what they have here in these bottles, but comparing to the competition that they have, I don't think it's really worth the price point there at all. Even the Stagg, which you can find on the secondary markets now for the same price point as these Woodfords, I would say beats it out, as well as the still Austin Cask Strength, as well as the Maker's Mark French Oak Cask Strength. I would say definitely comes too close to call for these Woodfords to make it justifiable, being worth $150 there, being less than half the price for each of these guys. Do with that information what you will. I think these Woodfords are a little bit overpriced, but they are good whiskey. If you can afford it and you want something a little different and you're a big fan of Woodford, it's probably worth the pickup for you. Although I would say that last year's 121.2 proof is definitely a little bit better. All right, and that's a wrap here in Capitol Bourbon. I hope this video helped you guys out there who are looking to purchase a Woodford Reserve Batch Proof, 119.5 proof, or kind of any Woodford Batch Proof in general. Also, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. That helps the channel grow significantly, helps me continue to make this type of content for you guys. And also, please leave a comment on what type of content you guys would like to see in the future. I'm down to pretty much anything, bourbon hunts, reviews, as well as reviews of any of these bottles or blinds of these bottles behind me. So please let me know down below. Until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy your Batch Proof whiskey. I'll see you next one, and cheers.